Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu goes on tour with his greatest hits. He opened with a classic, the same exact speech from 20 years ago. So you better look at these llamas. Our good friend Spock gets beamed up one last time. And more of the American population finally get involved in the controversial issue of color. Personally, the dress looked white and gold to me. This is Starseed Activate. My name is Gareth, thank you for those joining us for this week's edition of Starseed Activate. Now let's get right into it. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently gave a speech in DC to lawmakers trying to convince them that Iran is close to unlocking nuclear technology. If Iran did make an attack, it would be the first since they tried to kill Gerard Butler in the movie 300. But we're going to skip that for the time being and check in with Fox News for absolutely mind-numbing footage coming out of Arizona.
Llama Watch 2015 here on Fox News Channel. You see Black Llama and White Llama, since we took a break, have now separated. Moments ago, they had this Black Llama pinned against a fence. It's a South American relative of the camel. Doesn't want to be caught. Does not want to be caught. Faster than humans, as you can see. Fox News can confirm. Black llamas are faster than humans. Like cows, they regurgitate their food and chew it as cud. So maybe that's why the llamas are wandering around in the middle of the day by the park benches there in Sun City, Arizona. Maybe. It's possible. Now someone in a golf cart, for everyone in Sun City, Arizona, Fox News can confirm, does have a golf cart and from time to time travels by golf cart. So they're waiting for that. Uber says it will be 4 minutes, which means, of course, it will be 17 minutes. And if you cancel after 8 minutes, you pay anyway. And llamas. We'll check in on Black Llama and update the status of this White Llama.
Can we see that bit about the Black Llama again? What happened there? Were the words safe or recovered or captured or like anything else at all not available? After all was said and done, the Black Llama could be facing up to 3 years in a privatized Arizona State petting zoo, while the White Llama was awarded a college scholarship and this year's Heisman Trophy in advance. While that sinks in, let's move on to our main focus tonight, technology. Now I know you might be expecting me to talk about Apple's new Project Titan, but that's at least 5 years away. Let's instead talk a little about what is happening right now. But first I pose the question, now that we can make just about anything, what should we as a species be making? Well, some companies are giving us a sneak peek at what's just around the corner.
This will be there, literally at your fingertips. Shopping will become more social, more interactive, more engaging.
It wakes you quietly and punctually with a gentle vibration, and by so doing, without disturbance. It won't allow you to get bored, turning the usual morning jog into an enthralling competition, having chosen an opponent well matched to you, even if they're on the other side of the world. It will replace your wallet, as well as your apartment and car keys. And what's more, it will assist in keeping tabs on your finances, helping to control your expenses. It will keep an accounting of your nutritional input by tallying up the calories of food that you buy in the store. It will not only keep track of your weight, but also the nutritional value of your diet, and choose music for you and your partner, matching both your tastes. It keenly feels and understands you so well that it can easily determine if you will like a new movie or not, even before you have watched it.
Wow, great news everyone! These things know you better than you know yourself. And let's get real, a smartphone may make discovering great new media a little easier, but those bracelets seem like they would start more arguments than they would prevent. By the way, did you see how he couldn't even leave his house unless he was wearing the device? Yikes, that's terrifying. Now, while those born into the digital generation might not find it as alarming as those born before 1984 do, in fact, there are people out there that feel a little uneasy having their smart pill bottles automatically refill their soma for them. But the point can be made that we created machines in order to assist us. And to best do that, some of them do need our information to function as effectively as possible. Do these innovations help us to lead happier, better lives, or do they take away our freedom to discover ourselves over time? The real concern about what happens to our information takes place on the other end of the line. Is it an encrypted database that no one has access to, or is it being viewed and judged by another conscious entity? Is it being bought and sold for profit? It can be really hard to tell, but if there was no reason to be concerned, why does everyone in green McDonald's have a sticker over their laptop camera? Though, some of the new gizmos can be fun and harmless, like this Holo here, which can turn any smartphone or tablet into a very basic type of hologram, where it reflects light into a small contained space. Here, take a look.
Holophone is one of the many incredible and innovative products from the Holo collection. This is the Holophone Full Pyramid. It is a structure you place over or under your phone to project astonishing holographic images. The screen reflects the image on the four sides of the pyramid, generating a hologram in the center.
That's a neat trick, but a quick word to the wise. It's all a hologram. Now, what about instead of reflecting images, actually projecting them into thin air using high-powered lasers to ionize plasma molecules?
Ariel Burton has demonstrated an aerial 3D display, which can project text and images in mid-air.
Wow! How does it work?
中にどうやって文字を書こうかと思ったときに、そのプラズマ発光っていう現象を使おうというふうに考えたところが違いであるというふうに思っています。
The images are constructed by firing a 1 kHz infrared pulse laser into a 3D scanner, which reflects and focuses the pulses of the laser to specific points in the air. The molecules at that point are ionized, and the energy is released as photons. Ariel Burton believes that using this technology in emergencies will aid communication after a disaster, letting people know where to evacuate or obtain food and emergency supplies.
Amazing. That is some top-notch laser work, but the technology is still new, and the process is still somewhat rooted in entropic design. In other words, it's a byproduct of destruction. Fossil fuels could also be an example of this, and explosive weapons definitely are. Basically, things that break other things in order to function. Let's now take a look at some humans from this surface population developing technology that could be considered a little bit more harmonic by nature. Take a look at this from Dan Rosengard, a designer based in the Norwegian sector.
We started to focus on highways. Glowing lines is very specifically one of the first ideas from the 20 of smart highways, where in Europe, but I think also in the USA, government is shutting down street lights to save money. We should do more, not less. So we got sort of inspired by the glow in the dark, the little stars on the ceiling, but also a jellyfish. It has no battery, but it still gives light. So what can we learn from that? So the notion of biomimicry, sort of taking things from nature and morphing it to reality pops up. What you should know is that glowing lines is a series of smart coatings. So in the end we will have lines which can go from visible to non-visible, or from green to red, changing colors. So it's sort of an electronic paint which uses sunlight, but if it's really, really cloudy for several days, we can sort of boost the coating, the paint, with a little bit of electricity we get from the solar panel. And that sort of allows it to get a minimal amount of light, which is necessary for safety.
So if we could just kick our missile addiction for a few days, we could have Tron roads? Wow, what else you got?
Another focus of Smart Highway are electrical cars. I think it's incredibly weird that you're still putting 425 kilo of battery in each car. When you look at a piece that we made called Crystal, it's a public artwork as well, little rocks of light which get their electricity from the ground. No battery, no cables. We started to apply this principle to highways, making roads which charge electrical cars when they drive over it. And we sort of narrowed it down to a system when we only use like 3 or 4% battery or energy. So it's quite energy sufficient to sort of make a sort of red carpet for electrical cars, where when you drive on it, you do not lose electricity. It's sort of a mix of electromagnetism and induction. It's a combination of different techniques, and it's also just giving the power only when you are there. So it's very local. The goal of Smart Highway is to make landscapes which are future-proof, energy neutral, but also just incredibly poetic.
Wow, awesome! Any other thoughts while we give all the Tesla owners out there a moment to cover their erections with the closest decorative throw pillow?
Demanding of our society, of the world around us, is this really what we want? We are makers. And if we would trigger that mentality a bit more, I think the world would look completely different. And so I hope the stuff that I make at least sort of shows that what is possible, and at the same time shows the potential what could happen as well.
Well, it certainly has me feeling very activated. So when it comes down to it, the future is a never-ending expanse of uncharted territory that we all get to help envision, create, and experience together. What kind of legacy do we want to leave behind? We have the ingenuity as a species to create anything we want now. Our imagination is our only limit. It is my hope that we create something we can all take pride in, and that enhances everyday life all over the globe. Personally, I myself would settle for a flying motorcycle.
The hoverbike is the result of years of research and development. We combined the freedom of a helicopter with the simplicity of a motorcycle to create the world's first hoverbike.
We created a 1/3 scale hoverbike drone to test a new quad aerodynamic concept. Our drone will allow you to see and feel just how it will be to fly the full-scale hoverbike.
Dear Alien Santa, may I please have a hoverbike? Thanks, Gareth. P.S. A hover car is totally cool also. Well, that's our show for today, but before we go, let's take a quick look at one last important clip.
Put aside logic. Do what feels right. Since my customary farewell would appear oddly self-serving, I shall simply say, good luck.
Thank you, Leonard Nimoy. You lived long and prospered indeed. Well, see you next time, even though time is fake.